Hey, Larry Melissa from Ty-County Golf Ranch.
How's it going, guys?
So, Larry, sometimes you have trouble getting your golf ball up in the air.
I do.
Why is that?
Well, there's a couple reasons. One is we laugh, but I like to have a lot of loft on my driver, and you laughed at it because if I don't see a lot of loft on my driver, I try to make it get in the air.
I know, but you tee your ball up like.
Well, that's a little bit of old school. I like to see it go that way.
You want to see it go this way and up at the same time?
I want to be able to do whatever I want.
Oh, is that
I'm
right?
greedy.
Yeah.
Greedy,
okay.
But this session is, I've heard too many people say they hit it too high. And sometimes it's
Most
swing.
people don't hit it high enough.
They don't hit it high enough because the perfect launch is supposed to be 17 degrees. That's 1,700 RPMs of spin, which is kind of...
So what we're talking about is if you're watering your flowers in your yard.
Right.
And you're trying to get the far corner and you can't get there because you can't walk into your garden.
Or you can't, arms not long enough or whatever.
Right, so if you launch your hose at 17 degrees, you're gonna get optimum distance on your water. If you up too high, comes straight down. Too low, goes right into the ground.
Right.
So we're looking at 17 degrees aloft.
So sometimes it's done by swing because they lean into it, they pop it up. That's when they get those bad marks on the top of their clubs.
Dummy marks.
Tattoos, whatever you want to call them. But it was funny because the guy walked in and said, I don't like this shaft because I hit it too high. And I kind of looked at it and I said, well, you're not hitting it too high, it's just putting too much spin on the ball.
Right.
So you have to be able to, the shaft is the engine of the club.
Yes.
You can have a 12-degree driver, and if you have the right shaft in it to fit you, you can hit it really low.
Yeah, it's not going to go straight.
It's not going to go straight in the air. So the shaft is what launches the club in the air, not the loft of the club.
Well, Scott, our long drive guy, he has anywhere from 4 degrees aloft to 10 or 11 degrees aloft on his competition long drive drivers,
yes,
and they all just have different shafts in them, which make them do different things.
Right.
So if the conditions
are windy or not windy.
Right. If it's windy, he might hit his 4-degree driver. If it's not, he might hit his 9-degree driver.
That's right. That's exactly right.
He's trying to get the golf ball launched so it can go as far as it possibly can on a grid.
Right. So the shaft is the engine of the club. Mm-hmm. It allows the other things to happen while you're playing golf.
And unfortunately, if you go into a box store and buy a driver off the shelf, the engine, the shaft, isn't going to be what it would be if you were custom fit by someone who has a ton of shafts that are available and fit anybody.
That's exactly right.
So when you go into a big box store, you're getting they're not made as well.
Right.
As much as the manufacturers want you to believe that you've got the best shaft in there when you do that, they're not made as well.
Well, they're not made for you.
Absolutely.
Right. They're not made for you. And it's kind of funny because what was it, 5 years ago we went up and got our own shafts fitted, and it only took Melissa like what?
I hit 2 or 3 different shafts.
Yeah, 2 or 3 different shafts, about 20 balls, and you were fit.
Right.
And your shaft was expensive. It was
$400.
$400.
Yeah.
I went through a lot of shafts.
More than what the driver costs.
That's exactly right.
To begin with.
I went through a lot of shafts and a lot of balls.
You still do.
But to find out what shaft I need, and now that I like, but it's fun to know about the engine of the club and what allows to get the ball in the air. Believe it or not, I use the new Callaway Maverick driver with 10.5 degrees of loft on it.
And you actually have a light, stiff shaft in it, believe it or not. So everyone thinks when you have a stiff shaft, it's got to be heavy.
Right.
You can't. You can get a light, stiff shaft, which Kevin Hall, I think, has in his bag now.
Kevin Hall does the same thing.
If you watched our previous video on Kevin Hall, he's out there playing the mini tours.
Right.
And he's actually hitting the same shaft that Larry is right now.
Yeah, it's a light, stiff shaft. And the engine is, he couldn't believe it because other people were telling him he needed to go here.
Well, he doesn't like to hit the golf ball to the right.
Right.
So his golf ball, because of the heavy shaft, was staying kind of low, and when he missed it, it was going right. And he doesn't like that. And
then there's other ways that if you ever go get fitted, and I'm not talking about anything bad, but on the whole, everybody tries to get you fit upright. Whether you're left-handed or right-handed, they fit you upright so it doesn't go to the right, or for righties to the right and to lefties to the left.
They think that's the quickest way to fix a slice is to make the club more upright.
And that's the worst thing to do.
It's like the worst thing you could do.
I know. So the lie angle dictates which direction the golf ball is going to go in, believe it or not. And now swing has something to do with it, but you can cheat the system for the righties if you keep going right, just get it upright.
But
now,
it's only a temporary
fix.
It's
a temporary fix, that's right. But I just wanted to get that out there about the trajectory of the golf ball so people who don't understand this. The golf ball on the average tour player hits it 90 feet in the air on every club. The sand wedge gets there faster, the driver takes longer to get there, but the average tour player hits it 90 feet, 30 yards in the air, all right? And of course the sand wedge gets up fast and the driver gets out there, but that's what their average is, so they try to hit it that high. If we pick on Tiger Woods and Jason Day and some of those guys who are the top players, they hit the ball higher, and that's why they've won majors, because their descending rate, which you have great descending rate on your irons. Melissa's got great descending rate.
Mine's at like what, 40?
Yours is probably 47-degree angle. Mine's like 45, so I need to get all the help I can.
We're like 42. So what that means is when my golf ball hits the green, it stops. Like I get very little roll. Even with a 5-iron,
right.
4-iron into the green.
It's coming down so soft.
It's coming down so steep that my golf ball doesn't roll out.
Right.
Most of the time that's okay. But if there's a back pin that I'm trying to get to and my golf ball doesn't roll out, I've got to carry my ball farther.
Right.
Larry can't get his golf ball to stop rolling.
Well, I can, but I've changed the engine in my clubs a little bit, so now I get enough spin on it. So my descending rate is a little more than 42, but it does come down at a little shallow rate. So I've worked hard on that, and you know, my ball flight's lower than Melissa's. Melissa's is probably right a little above the average of 30 yards in the air. Yours is probably a little higher than that. Mine's probably a little lower than that, but the shaft is the most important thing in the club. So we work hard on trying to get the right trajectory when we play golf. And if you have any questions, feel free to.
You can text us, email us, stop by and see us.
Talk about that and learn about the engine, how it works.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a good
guys.
day.